heart always will be elsewhere. That is the price you pay for the richness of loving and knowing people in more than one place. And then Miss Maddie told me that the big positive about the virus is she gets to keep in touch with us on a regular basis, gets to join our Zoom meetings, and makes the world a smaller place with the pandemic in a way with electronics. And Maddie announced earlier she's now decided to join nursing, and that's going to be her career going forward. And my inspiration from the students is always, I'm always constantly learning and growing because of them. And they also keep me up on social media. I would never understand Snapchat, Instagram, and all those things without them. And they still teach me every day because I get lost. And being on exchange is a learning experience, not only for their year of exchange, but for their life, and continues to go on when they go home and come back from exchange. So thanks. That's my inspirational moment today.
Thank you very much, Charlene. Very, very inspirational. There we are. So, introduction of guests.
I'd like to introduce Karen, who is our guest speaker this morning from our district youth exchange. And hopefully I'll introduce her a little more in depth later, Mark.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jerry. I'd actually like to introduce Gordon Putnam, who is president-elect for the Morinville Club. Welcome, Gordon.
Thank you very much. A pleasure to be here.
Mark, I'd like to introduce Ed Heitzman.
Thank you, Ash. Welcome, Ed.
And we have Erica Groen with us and Maddie.
Yay. Welcome, Erica. Welcome, Maddie.
And I also have
Natalia here.
Yeah. And Holly is here, the waitress.
Holly, welcome,
and
Holly.
Not a guest, but we're really, really happy to have Joe with us again. He hasn't been in Rotary for a while, so.
Nice to see you, Joe.
John, is Rebecca here this morning?
Yes, she is. We've got Rebecca and Susanna.
Thank you.
So, but yeah, Rebecca.
Welcome all. And with that, we will sing the welcome song.
Welcome to Rotary, glad you're here. Come shake our hands and share friendly cheer. Whether from near or whether from far, we're glad you came. We hope that you like our little fun because we're proud of St. Anne. And you'll agree, our club enjoys some great camaraderie. So we do what we can to help with the needs of our community with our friends at Rotary. With our friends at Rotary.
President Mark.
Yes, sir.
We have another guest here. Jenny Kamsa has joined us. I had the pleasure of meeting her at my store the other day, and she's checking out Rotary. So welcome, Jenny. Sorry for the late introduction.
Wonderful. Welcome, Jenny. Thanks for joining us. Before we go to our guest speaker, we have a special presentation from Gordon. Gordon, I'm not sure. I don't think Patrick was able to join us.
Yeah, I thought he was. We had a meeting on Wednesday. I expected him to be online, but he's not right now, so certainly I can take over from here.
Thank you.
Okay, well, yeah, thanks for letting me join your meeting this morning. It's same time as our Wednesday morning meeting, so I'm used to the early morning, so that's fine. Our club isn't quite up and running on every week yet. We're every second week, and we hope to be more frequent come September. And we have been doing in-person meetings once a month. So that's where we're at. But the reason I'm here is because St. Albert Club, your club, was our sponsoring club, and our 25th anniversary is next year. So in your spring, you were having your gala, and of course, everything kind of changed with what happened. So we weren't able to attend. You guys went ahead. It sounds like you had a very successful gala, raising, I think, in excess of $50,000, which is just amazing and great. Congratulations on that to you. And our club, because we were planning to buy a table and show up, and we couldn't, we would just like to provide a donation of $1,000 to your club in appreciation not only of your sponsorship, but also of your great relations we've had with your club over the years, and a number of things that we've done together in terms of joint meetings and just coming to each other's meetings and getting to know each other. So I obviously can't hand you a check right now, but Mark, if you wouldn't mind, just giving me the information offline where I can send a check to, and we'll do that. And again, just with great appreciation and admiration for your club, we thank you, and congratulations again on your gala.
Thank you so much, Gordon. Very much appreciated. Round of applause all the way around.
Thank you.
So we will go back to here. And Jerry, if you could please introduce our guest speaker.
Certainly gives me really great pleasure to introduce Karen Munjak. She's the chair of our district youth exchange committee. She sent me a few little things that I found very interesting about her background and herself. Karen is a CPA, and she works with an owner-managed businesses and not-for-profit groups. She's originally from Manning, Alberta, and she has lived in Edmonton, New Zealand, and Calgary before settling in Grand Prairie, where she's been for the last 16 years. She's been a member of the Rotary Club in Grand Prairie since 2005, and she was also past president there, 2010-2011. Her husband is from Australia, we won't hold that against him, and joined the Rotary Club last year in Grand Prairie. Karen and her husband have twin girls, and they're both in Interact. She and her husband also have been host parents 8 times, and she's been the inbound counselor 3 times. And with her club's international project, she's been able to travel to Bolivia and Kenya. For fun, she says, I'm a scrapbooker, a travel enthusiast, an avid reader, and a tap dancer. She plays saxophone in a wind ensemble, and she's recently taken up Dungeons and Dragons. So Karen, without further ado, I hand it over to you.
Oh, thank you very much. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Your problems. Okay, how do I share my screen with you guys? Does anyone know?
Give me a second here and I'll fix that. Whoops. Okay, you should be able to now.
Okay. Wow, I am so not technologically here. Oh, I see the share screen button.
There you go.
This is the one we want to share. I hope. Can you see that? Is there anything there?
You got it. Yeah.
You can see Rotary Youth Exchange Program?
You can, yes.
Oh, excellent. Okay, let's put this to a slideshow. Whoops. Okay, I don't know. Anyways, you can see this now, so that's good. So the District Youth Exchange Committee, we are actually, did it go to the next slide?
It did. It's just a little small. If you could just maybe stretch that screen a little bit.
Yeah, just hold on a second.
Or even if you go to, yeah, that's much better.
It's better? You guys can see it now? Okay. So the District Youth Exchange is a committee. We're not a member of the board. What we report to the Youth Services Director, which is a position that's actually currently vacant. So right now we're reporting to the administration chair. With our committee, we've divided ourselves up. So we're trying to divide up all of the tasks that have to be done so that it doesn't fall to one person. I'm the committee chair. Myrna is our past chair. Rachel White's looking after the database, and we've currently got an inbound and outbound counselor liaison, just so that people will have a set person to go to when they have questions. So I'll start out, what happened to the 2019-2020 exchange students? I don't think that's come up. Oh, whoops. Wow, I am not good at this. Okay, there we go. What happened to the exchange students? So we had 9 inbounds. 6 of them returned almost immediately. What our district had done is we had decided that if a student wanted to stay, if their natural parents were okay with it and their district was okay with it, we let them stay. However, we did, 6 of our kids went back almost immediately, either because their parents wanted them back or because their district wanted them back. I believe 2 of them left in May and the last one left at the end of June. When the pandemic hit, we had 10 outbounds. 7 of them returned almost immediately. 1 came back in May, and we had 2 that came back as normally would have happened in early July. And so that brought us to the state of our 2021 youth exchange program. It was in March, things were starting to look bad with the pandemic, and we started discussing whether or not we would need to send students back and how this would look for our 2021 youth exchange program. But unfortunately, by April of 2020, it was apparent that world events were not going to allow us to send kids out. So we made the very difficult decision to cancel the 2021 youth exchange program. At that stage, we knew who our inbound kids are, and I think to myself, I cried when we had to cancel the program. I knew who our girl was going to be that was coming to Grand Prairie, and I felt this tremendous sense of loss that she wasn't going to come to Grand Prairie. So I could only imagine how terrible this was for the outbounds, for our kids that were meant to be leaving right at this time, heading to their new places. Rotary International and April had not given us a great deal of guidance. They have since come forward and said they're recommending no 2021 youth exchange program, but they have said that if districts feel they're in a position to do so safely, that we could do a January to June 2021 youth exchange program. Our district has decided not to do that. We don't feel that we're going to be ready for, certainly not in the world. We don't think they're going to be ready to start shipping students around. And we also worried that the clubs would not be in a position to host, and we didn't know what the schools were going to be looking like. So we have completely suspended all 2021 youth exchange activities. So that's got us looking forward to next year, the 21-22 program. And we've decided that we're going to proceed as normal unless we get direction from Rotary International that says we have to cancel, or until such time that world events make it clear that we cannot safely proceed. Just because of the long lead time for recruiting students, training students, getting visas, if we have any hope of sending kids out in August of 21, we need to get going now. And that's what we're doing. We need to have 10 participating clubs in our district to make the program viable. For the coming year, we are going to stick with Western Europe for our exchange partnerships. We had been looking at South America for 2021, but watching what's going on down south, I just don't think that it would be a good decision to try and send our students out to somewhere like Brazil or Argentina or Chile or Peru. So that's why we're sticking with Western Europe. Unfortunately, cancellation is looming over us. It remains a possibility. This whole pandemic is uncharted territory. So anything can happen in the next 5 months. However, we are knowing what we know now, we are going to make a decision by the end of February, before any costs are concurred and before the students become too invested. Thinking back to how things were this past year, I think it was hard on the counselors, the clubs, and especially the students when we had to cancel in April. So we will be looking at things in February, and if it's not looking good, we will unfortunately have to cancel the program. It's not anyone's ideal, but you know, world events being what they are, we may have no choice. One of the questions we get asked is sending your 2021 candidate. All the clubs had their students chosen. They were ready to head out in August. So if your candidate hasn't aged out, you can take your 2021 candidate and have that student be your candidate for the coming year. What aged out means is that the student will have graduated from high school by June of 2021, or they will turn 19 while they're away. So the challenge with sending kids who have graduated from high school is that Alberta education has gotten a lot tougher with allowing the student to attend, because they're not actually replacing a student that would be in the system otherwise. So it's more of an Alberta education thing as opposed to a district policy. We also want the students, the parents, and the counselors attending spring orientation in March of 21, even if they already attended the March 2020. I know it'll be some of repeated information, but counselors change, rules change, and it's a good chance for the students to get to know the rest of their cohort before they head out. The database. I don't know how much experience any of you guys have had with the database. It's sort of been, it's run hot and cold with me personally. A lot of times it doesn't work for me. We've now got a dedicated committee member whose entire job on our committee is to make sure that the database is working and that it's being used. We are going to manage all applications and documentation through the database. So similar with what was done last year, outbound applicants must have everything submitted in advance. I wasn't part of the district interviews, but there were a number of people walking in with their documentation at the interview, and we're not going to do that. It does not give the committee doing the interview sufficient time to be able to go through everything. So that's why we're going to manage it through the database. Everything will get submitted online. I think this is unchanged from previous years. All host families and counselors have to submit applications through the database in order to be host parents, in order to be counselors, and there's also a number of training modules that you have to go through. My hint with the training modules, if you're like me and you have done these training modules over and over again, you can skip through everything, go to the quiz at the end. If you can pass the quiz, the training module is done. The information really doesn't change that much from year to year. VPRC requirements, again, this is unchanged from previous years. Who needs a VPRC? It's all the counselors, inbound and outbound. Host parents, if you've got adult children living at home. And personal, my kids were going to turn 18 in February, and they were completely excited that they would finally be required to get VPRCs. The other thing, people that need them is Rotarians or other adults who spend unsupervised time with the students.
Karen, can I just interrupt? You're stuck on the slide that says what happened to the 2019 and 20 students. We're not seeing anything else.
Oh. Hey, wow. Let me just see.
Maybe try unsharing and then reshare.
Is it changing now?
Now it is, yeah.
Okay, there's two, let's see, VPRC requirements. Can you see VPRC requirements?
We can, yes. Thank you.
Okay, there's 2 spots I can change the slide, and I was changing it in the wrong one. Okay, so who doesn't need a VPRC? Anybody who's through the school, so teachers, coaches, school leader activities. The school boards have their own insurance and their own system of VPRC compliance.
Karen, I'm gonna just interrupt you. Can you explain what VPRC is?
Oh, vulnerable persons record check, basically a police check. It's when you get your check done at the RCMP, submit it to district, just so that we know that the people who are working with our students don't have any sort of criminal record. That's a good enough explanation, Charlie? Okay. So one change that we did make in the past year with VPRC requirements is short-term visits. So it used to be that if you had people coming to your home, they were meant to have VPRC checks. What we've changed it to that if you just have a visitor coming for the weekend, they don't need to get a VPRC. If you are heading off to visit family for the weekend, the people you'll be staying with don't need to have VPRCs. And we made that change in the hope that it would be a lot easier for host families to take their students places or have people coming in sort of their life running uninterrupted by still being able to have visitors while they've got the student staying with them. The only caveat on that is please ensure the student is not left alone with adults who don't have VPRC checks in place with the district. Our travel policy is unchanged from previous years. Within the district, just let the outbound or the inbound counselor know that the student is headed somewhere. If the trip is outside the district and still within Canada, there is a travel request form that needs to get submitted to the district. We ask, please allow 1 week for processing. We are all volunteers and sometimes people are busy with other things and won't get to it straight away. And then there's the outside of Canada. If your student is lucky enough to get taken on an international trip, we require the travel request form be submitted to the district for approval. We need to have a copy of the student's visa. The risk is not that the student won't get into the country they're visiting, but whether or not they're going to be able to get back into Canada. We need to make sure they have a multi-entry visa to allow them to come back into Canada at the conclusion of the trip. We also need written consent or an email from the student's natural parents. And we do ask for at least 2 months. And that's only because if the student has a single entry visa, there is some time required in order to get them a multi-entry visa. And we asked people not to book any non-refundable travel until district approval is obtained. We would hate to have a trip booked and then discover that the student can't go because their visa is not gonna be ready in time. So program costs. The cost to participate is $7,250 for the coming year, and that includes the student's round-trip flight plus change fee, costs for visas, the insurance, language instruction, outbound orientation, the student's attendance at either Ryla, or Ripon prior to departure, the rebound survival weekend, Blazer business cards, and the program administration. And up to half of that $7,250 can be paid by the outbound students' parents. That is at the discretion of the club. So if you have an inbound student, the obligations with that, there is a minimum allowance that has to be provided to the student. It is a minimum of $100 US. So I guess, I think a lot of clubs do around 150. That seems to be a reasonable translation from US dollars. It's always paid by the host Rotary Club. Your host families can be Rotarians, or they can be just interested community members. For extracurricular activities and cell phone, that can be covered by the student or their natural parents, or if your club is feeling particularly generous, you can cover that. But that is at the discretion of the host club. There are a number of mandatory events that everybody needs to attend. The first one will be spring orientation in March of 2021 for the outbounds, their parents, and the counselors. The outbound student must attend Riley, Ryla, or Ripon. And once your inbound arrives, we have our inbound orientation weekend in September for the inbounds and their counselors. There's a wrap-up camp, usually in May, so it'll be May 2022 for the inbounds before they leave. And then the last mandatory event will be the Rebound Survivor Weekend that happens in August, and that's for the rebounds, their parents, and their counselors. We've got our recommended and optional events. The district conference is not a required event, but we do encourage clubs to send their students to it. It's a great opportunity for the kids to learn more about Rotary. They get to see each other again, and it's really good for Rotarians to see these students running around with their blazers and have a chance to talk to them. The district also has 2 optional trips that happen during the year. The first is the Jasper ski trip, which will happen in December of 2021. And then there will also be a winter trip in either February, March. The past couple of years, it's been a trip to Winnipeg to visit the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. The year before that, it was the train trip out to Vancouver to attend the Rotary Peace Conference. And prior to that, and I think for many years, it was the Yellowknife trip is what the students did. We're not sure what we're gonna do for in 2022, but we've got a few ideas kicking around, and we'll have that ironed out, obviously, in the next year and a half before we have to send any students on it. All of these these 2 trips, the Jasper and the winter trip, are additional costs, and those are usually paid by the student, but clubs can pay those if they wish. Again, totally at the discretion of the clubs. That was really all I wanted to cover. I know your club is really familiar with Youth Exchange. You guys have been doing it for a lot of years. So I didn't want to spend too much time on that, but I thought I would throw things open to questions if anybody wants to ask me anything.
Thank you very much, Karen. I think that really explains a lot to some of our club members who may not be familiar with the program. My question is, I know this has been kicking around for a few years since I've been involved, is the consideration of a short-term program. Do you have any information on the possibility?
I've looked at the possibility of the short-term program. It's not something that we've done in our district before. My understanding of it is it tends to be more of a family-to-family exchange. So what you would partner up a kid in St. Albert with a kid from overseas. The overseas student would come and stay with the Canadian student and her family, and then the Canadian student would return to the other country and stay with the foreign student. So it's, as opposed to being hosted by the Rotary Club, the student is really hosted by the family, the other student's family. It can be, I mean, it's a great opportunity, and I think there would be a lot of appeal for it. The thing is, it's not so much a Rotary, from what I can see, it's not so much a Rotary exchange. Rotary just more tends to facilitate the opportunity. The inbound student is not necessarily a part of Rotary the way our long-term inbound students are. I would say that's the drawback to the program, but you know, it's certainly something that I think we probably need to start looking at as a district. Because
Yeah, especially in these times, right? I mean,
and the cost and the time commitment, not every student wants to give up a year of, I mean, it puts them a year behind in school, and not every kid wants to do that.
correct. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be interested in looking into that a little further. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions for Karen?
I've got a question. Karen, great presentation. Really enjoyed it. It covers a lot of material. I might have missed this in your presentation, but I was just wondering, in past years, there used to be, I guess, a suggestion. At one point in time, I think it was a recommendation or even a requirement that the kids would raise some money for some project while they were on exchange. Years ago, it used to be Shelter Box, and I know we kind of got away from that. But is there any consideration around that the kids would raise funds for a particular project as part of their exchange?
It's not something that we can make mandatory for the students. We can't, as a district, tell the students you must raise X amount for some project. But that said, it is something that we encourage the students to do. I know in Grand Prairie, we've had kids do bake sales to raise money for the Friendship Center or the food bank, different things like that. But again, it cannot be a required, but it's one of those strongly recommended, and we encourage the inbound counselors to work with their students to get them involved in some sort of fundraising or giving back to the community that's hosted them. Does that answer your question?
Sorry, thanks. No, that was good. Yeah.
Daryl, as inbound counselor, I've always kind of made it a requirement in our club. So there's just different ways of looking at it. Maddie raised money for Shelter Box, over $1,200. I think Gabby was Shelter Box as well. Gabby is using those skills right now in Brazil, if you follow her on Instagram, to raise funds to come to Canada for a visit. She has a whole marketing process going on with her baking that is like a little empire if you check it out. So it's great skills that they carry on in the future.
That's good to hear, Charlene. I know from our daughter Cole, from her exchange, I think she actually raised money for Shelter Box before she went, and I think that's quite common too. So I think it's a good thing, but I like the idea that it can be flexible.
Other questions for Karen? Crickets?
Well, you got away easy, Karen.
I'm thinking.
Well, thank you very much, Karen. I've actually had a side request from somebody to see if we can get a copy of your presentation slides.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I emailed it to Daria, but is there somebody else that I could email it to?
No, that's fine. I'll get it from Daria. Thank you.
Okay.
So in recognition of your contribution this morning, we will be making a donation to Rotary International Polio Plus program. And we will be sending you a copy of this certificate of appreciation. So thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you so much, Karen.
Thanks. Thank you for having me. This is the first presentation I made, so I was a little nervous.
You'd never know it.
And you came to St. Albert. Outstanding. Thank you. So some quick reports and announcements. I'm pleased to report, and many of you have probably seen this, that a couple of our club members have new jobs. Daria is now the Manager of Corporate Planning, Risk and Insurance for the City of St. Albert. And Jody Swanson is Business Risk Consultant, CMB Insurance Brokers. So congratulations to both of them for those. I know there's a lot of sweating going on. Daryl, you wanted to make a few comments about the upcoming music festival AGM?
Yeah, just to announce to the club and keep it on people's calendar, our AGM will be on September 25th. And of course, it'll be a little bit different than normal because, of course, we'll be doing it via Zoom. We're trying to negotiate a way of having some entertainment to kick off the meeting as we traditionally do. Might be something that's videoed and then played, but we will have something. We'll probably have, it looks like probably 4 to 5 spots available on the board because we have their 2-year terms. So there are always about half of the board members turning over. So if anybody is interested in being part of the board, please reach out to myself or Ian Soder, who is vice president. And it's going to be an exciting year. We're already looking at the possibilities for next year and the challenges. And there's a decent chance that it'll be a virtual festival next year, which of course is going to be a totally new experience. But all of us are learning quickly how that can be a possibility. So if you've got some energy, some innovative ideas, and want to be part of the music festival board, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear from as many people as possible and see if we can have a full slate ready to go for the AGM. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Daryl. Karen, apparently we're still seeing your screen share. So if you could maybe just go up to the top of your screen, there's a little button that says stop share. Okay, it's fixed now apparently. I can't tell from my end, so I've got all kinds of helpers going, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, we still see her on screen,
We
Mark.
still see her in the corner.
Although she has a lovely face.
Change is good. I don't even see Mark. I just see Karen.
There we go. I see you, Mark.
See me now?
Yep.
Do you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. So this is the certificate, Karen. Can you see it now? There we go. Now we're cleared up. So announcements.
I have an update.
You have an update? Okay.
Yes, on the flag program, big thanks to everybody who has volunteered. I have all of the pickups filled, but I still have 2 outstanding deliveries, which are coming up relatively close. There's 2 routes, and I'm open to splitting up the one that's the Woodlands, Ainsdale, and the Fulton. So if you've got a small car and you just have a little bit of time, let me know. Thank you to everybody who has stepped up. And if you still have a flag that looks kind of rotten, have you picked up your flag from Laszlo in order to exchange it? So and a reminder that we are putting them up on the 1st and the 2nd of September. If you're involved with the Sport Check project, then that's why we moved it up a little bit. But if you're not involved with it, then if you wanted to do it on the 3rd, but we want to try and make sure that Laszlo doesn't get calls because Ivan has put up his flags before they got theirs. So thank you. And thanks, Jackie. I just saw your note.
Project.
I'll talk to you. That's it.
Thank you very much, Dawn. And thanks for the work behind the scenes, Laszlo and John. And I haven't seen Robert in a while, but we're still using his space. And hey, he's doing a great job. Our next morning meeting is August 28th, and Dr. Cheryl Pollard is going to be presenting. She's Associate Dean of Bachelor of Science in Nursing program at MacEwan, and she's going to be talking about mental health and COVID-19. This announcement, you probably saw Rotary International Jennifer Jones, who's a member of the Rotary Club of Windsor, Roseland, Ontario, Canada, has been nominated to become Rotary International's president for 22-23, a selection that will make her the first woman to hold that office in the organization's 115-year history. So that is huge news.
It is totally huge.
Birthdays and anniversaries. Mark Moran, the other Mark, August 24th. Anniversaries, Kevin and Sherilyn Underhill. Kevin's here this morning. 34 years. How do you make that happen? Goodness gracious. Nicely done. And date joined Rotary Terry Cook, 5 years on the 21st, and Matt Carter on the 3 years on the 25th. And now, Sergeants at Arms.
Oh, and I didn't think I got cards. You don't have them? I don't have them. All right, so I'll take a flip of that one. Okay, good morning, everybody. Can everyone hear us?
Can't see you.
Can't see you, but we hear you.
That's. We can see us in the thing.
We look good. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a good-looking, handsome boy there. You know. Anyway, so we got a couple of things this morning. Unfortunately, I have to self-find myself because I just realized that the Chase the Ace cards are sitting on my desk at home. So we're gonna have to do 2 draws next week. And I apologize for that. It's really bad because Stacy was super excited about actually being able to participate this week because she's actually here and she won't be here next week. So really, I probably subconsciously did this on purpose just to shut Stacy out. But we'll figure it out, and I do apologize to everyone. But we've got nearly people playing on Chase the Ace, which is great. So we're getting some feedback on the.
Sounds funny.
Whatever. But let's jump to. You want to do Mark versus John?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do Mark versus John. Mark Dixon, you've got the video, so roll them. What I am going to say is we've got 7 people playing today. Half of the money from them will go to whoever voted. 1 person who voted for the winner. 6 people voted for Mark. 1 person voted for me. So
I don't know what that says about his dishwashing skills, but
you know, we're gonna see what happens here. But you know, good luck, Mark. All right.
Can't we watch them?
Fellow Rotarians, we are here for the dishwasher pod challenge. Yeah,
We don't see it.
I've seen it on YouTube.
Don't see it.
No.
Try this. How about that?
There it is. Yep.
That's better.
Doing this. Okay, so Rotarians, this is for you. Raising money, vote for me to win. Okay. 1, 2, 3. You didn't think it was actually going to beat it, did you? All right, so my dishwasher is done. Hopefully Mark's is done as well. I'll do my dishes my way. Mark, you do yours your way. Just so everyone knows, he doesn't know how I'm doing mine. I don't know how he's doing his. He's at his house. I'm at my house. So with that, let's get started. Okay, the dishes are now done. I've been training for the last couple of days at least of how to put this away as most efficiently as possible. Alana's been super happy with the results. The kitchen has been clean and the dishes have been put away constantly this week. So I've been training. John, you're going down. All right, ready, set, go. holes. Where are the holes? Maybe over here? No, that's the tops. I've seen these before. Ah, right, over here. Whew. Our training has paid off. I totally forgot where these bowls went. Now these are a cross between a plate and a bowl. I don't know if you call it a pole or a, I don't know, a plate. Anyway, Alana's favorite dish. Shot glasses, because you know, can't use those enough. Here, this thing goes right here, perfect. That goes there. This is another cup, goes here. What is this? Interesting.
Where is it?
You do this for? Why don't you like crush something with it? Huh. Yeah, I don't know where that goes. Put that there. Yeah, I mean, here. And it's my favorite tool, the thumb, right? I mean, you just can't stop playing with these once you touch them like a crab. Ah! Done. That, ladies and gentlemen, was the dishwasher challenge. John, you went down. Three, two, one, go. Hey, Michael Cooper's in the paper this week.
Not fair, John.
There's apparently three stops here. Maggie. Maggie. Yeah, stop here. Oh, this is a burger repairing. Booze is cheap at the real Canadian liquor store. I know a few of you are going to care about that. Well done? Well done. All right, there you have it. Mark, I finished in 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Beat that.
All right, there we have it.
I think there's a red card on the play.
It's fair. It's fair.
Yeah.
Totally fair.
We're going to go to video replay for that one. That was, pretty bad.
So that's now 2 Mark versus Johns for me, 1 for him. I only had 1 person vote for me because
they didn't believe you.
Well,
and they shouldn't.
That's fine. I still won. So Stacy voted for me.
Yeah.
So Stacy, thank you for your support. You win the $17.50, and Mark will e-transfer that to you. So congrats on that. It's fantastic. We don't know what the next Mark versus John will be, but
stay tuned, and we'll show you what it will be in the next week here.
Yep. So let's move on to we have a few finds.
Couple of finds. I have a segment I like to call Rotarians in the News. So we have Michael Cooper here insulting our Prime Minister. So $5, I think, for him. I mean, the guy's political office. He's a leader of our country. I don't know. Shame. Then we have this other beautiful character who works at Staples, by the way. Look at him. Look how cute he is. He's got his mask on. He's a very good Rotarian. So Doug, great article. That's $5 for being in the paper. Thank you. That's Rotarians in the news.
I'm sure Kathy was in the paper too.
I didn't see. I looked for her.
Really? Probably. Yeah. So anyway, we'll give Kathy a $5 fine just because we're sure she's in the news. Now let's see. I don't have any fines to hand out today because I'm just happy to have won Mark versus John. So we do have some fines from the floor though. So we'll start with the people here at Socrates this morning, and then we'll go to the people online for just to keep it organized. So we have Kathy looking for a fine.
Two.
Right.
I got two fines.
Right, Cameron's right there.
I have, during O Canada, the screen that we could see, everyone was standing up except Anita. It's O Canada, Anita, you have to stand up for it. So I'm gonna fine Anita $5. And then, although the video connection at Socrates wasn't great for the video, Mark was wearing socks with his sandals. So that's a $2 fine. That's all I got.
It was the morning. I don't look good in the morning.
The sun wasn't enough. You did it in the evening. Okay, any other fines from here? Anyone? Okay, do we have any fines from the floor or from the screen? Fines from the screen. Going once?
I think we need to have some non-mask wearing fines in Socrates.
There's a plate here.
There you go.
There you go. This is my mask that I was given from last week.
Very nice.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, if we don't have fines from the floor, how about some happy bucks? Does anyone have happy bucks? I got. We have Doug Campbell here. There's always.
Mark.
Come on up, Doug.
From Socrates.
Okay, are you ready? Oh, anyway.
Talk to the green light.
Anyway, yesterday I was in a car accident, and the interesting thing about it was that the other driver was having a medical incident. He swung into me erratically. I got out. It was quite evident that this gentleman was quite in distress. Got to tell you, here was the response time. Within 2 minutes, there was the police car behind me, and then an EMT vehicle coming the opposite way was on the other side of the road, all within 2 minutes, and within 3.5 minutes, the fire and the ambulance arrived. We should be proud to be in St. Albert and to know that we have this quick and response system put together by our council. There you go. That's my happy one.
And we're really glad you're okay too, Doug. Yeah. Any other happy bucks out there? Who else do we have this happy? Okay, well, I'm going to add to the happy bucks because if anyone's been following me on social media the last few weeks, buying a car for me has been a bit of a nightmare. And I finally picked up my car on Wednesday. I have wheels again. I'm mobile. It's fantastic. So I'll throw $5 in for happy bucks because I'm just glad to have a car. Any others from the floor here? Okay. Mark, I think we're done.
I think we're good. Awesome.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Good job.
Thank you, gentlemen. Shout out to the folks at Socrates there. That was our sergeants at arms.
Mark, can I just ask Doug Webster something?
Absolutely.
Hey, Doug, is there any update on that, the tools for schools for September 3rd? Are we setting up at your place?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, absolutely. We're well underway for that. We met with President Mark last night. We're just finalizing some of the promotional stuff that we'll be doing for it. The event itself is going to go on the Thursday the 3rd, which will be fantastic. Great opportunity for to really raise awareness to the program in the community, and it'd be nice to get some of the Rotarians out to be in the community again. It's been an awful long time since we've been able to do that, so we're really looking forward to it. So everything's a go. We're ready to rock, and just a few dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and we're ready to roll.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.
So as worker bees, we just show up. We don't have to bring anything special.
Well, we're gonna make you work for free, so it'll be fun. You know, we'll have you running up and down the aisles picking bags. How's that sound, Anita?
Okie dokie.
So speaking of social media, we will be promoting that event on our social media channels, so keep an eye out there. And if you're looking for a recording of this meeting and past meetings, we are also on YouTube. So thank you very much to Karen, our guest speaker, to our sergeants at arms, to Charlene for the inspirational moments, for everyone for contributing and for being here. And please join me in the four-way test of the things we think.
We think, say, and do.
Is it
the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And will it be fun?
Will it be fun? Good one. I like the will it be fun.
Thank you, everyone.
I'm out of here.
Bye, Anita. Have a nice weekend.
Okay, I'm gone.
Bye. Thanks again, Karen. See you, Maddie.
Good to see you, Maddie. Thanks for joining us, Jenny.